First and foremost, the pelvic floor. This is a group of muscles on the bottom of our pelvis that go from our pubic bone in the front to the tailbone in the back and span across our two sit bones. These muscles are intimately related around our urethra, vagina, and anus. There's actually 3 layers and several muscles that all collectively make up the pelvic floor. On this slide, it goes through the 3 different layers. We're not going to necessarily know each and every muscle individually, but I just wanted you to know that there's several different layers and different muscles that all make up this bowl that is collectively known as the pelvic floor. Now, the pelvic floor is part of a bigger stability system in our trunk called the core canister. And this canister is made up of the diaphragm at the top, which is a dome-shaped muscle that's used for breathing, the transverse abdominal muscles on the side, as well as the deep multifidi muscles, which are the deep back muscles. These guys make up the sides of the canister. And then the pelvic floor muscles are the bottom of the canister. All of these guys together, you can think of like a canister or like a soda can. The diaphragm is the top, the pelvic floor is the bottom, the transverse abdominals and the multifidi are the sides. Getting back to the pelvic floor, I want to talk a little bit more about the multiple functions that the pelvic floor muscle plays in day-to-day activity. The easiest way to remember it is the 5 S's of pelvic floor function. So S number 1, support. These muscles are the bowl that hold up our pelvic organs. So if the pelvic floor is the bowl, the pelvic organs are the fruit in the bowl. So our bladder, our uterus, our rectum, all of those things are supported up and in by the pelvic floor bowl. And yes, the pelvic floor fruit can fall out, and we don't want that to be the case. So we want a nice supportive pelvic floor so that those pelvic organs do not start to sag. The pelvic floor is also involved in sexual function. This is the second S of pelvic floor function. Our pelvic floor muscles help with arousal and orgasm. We want to have nice, supple, supportive pelvic floor muscles to optimize our sexual health. The third S is sphincter. This is the most common function that most people think of the pelvic floor for. The pelvic floor muscles have a sphincter action or a closing action that closes off around the urethra and the anus to make sure that we don't pee and poop on ourselves. So these are the muscles that we're actually learning to use when we are toilet training or potty training as little kids. The fourth S is stability. So the pelvic floor muscles, like we said on a previous slide, are part of the deep core canister, and they work together with the other muscles of that canister to give stability to our trunk and our pelvic ring. The fifth function is a little bit less well known, sump pumps. So the pelvic floor muscles, because they're part of the core canister and work with our diaphragm and move when we breathe, they have a pumping action that helps to move lymphatic fluid through the pelvic area. So those are the 5 functions of pelvic floor muscles.
Thank you for watching our video. We hope you found it informative. We put out weekly content on pelvic health topics because we want people to be able to optimize their pelvic health throughout their lifetime. Make sure you like and subscribe our channel so that you're alerted when our next video becomes available.